Vibrator members, I invite you to come out as you like. Very good. You mean focus on the poetry they're getting ready to read? Some of you may be familiar with Sylvia Plath. Ted Hughes was her husband. After her death, he wrote her a letter every year on her birthday. This is one of those letters. Visit. Lucas, my friend, one among those 3 or 4 who say unchanged, like a separate self, a stone in the bed of the river, under every change, became your friend. I heard of it, alerted. I was sitting, youth away, in an office near Slough, morning and evening between Slough and Holborn, hoarding wage to fund a leap to freedom and the other side of the earth, a free fall to strip my chrysalis off me in the slipstream weekends I recidived into alma mater girlfriend, shared a supervisor, and weekly session with your American rival and you. She detested you. She fed snapshots of you, and she did not know what inflammable celluloid into my silent, insatiable failure, my blind man's bluff internal church of self with my friend. After midnight, I stood in a garden, lobbing soil clods up at a dark window. Drunk, he was certain it was yours. Half as drunk, I did not know he was wrong, nor did I know I was beyond being auditioned for the male lead in your drama, miming through the first easy movements as if with my eyes closed, feeling for the role, as if a puppet were being tied on its strings, or a dead frog's legs touched by electrodes. I jigged through these gestures, watched and judged only by starry darkness and a shadow, unknown to you and not knowing you, aiming to find you, and missing, and again missing, flinging earth at a glass that could not protect you, because you were not there. 10 years after your death, I met on the page of your journal as never before the shock of your joy when you first heard of that. Then the shock of your prayers, and under those prayers your panic. The prayers might not create the miracle. Then under the panic, the nightmare. That came rolling to crush you. Your alternative, the unthinkable. Old despair and the new agony melting into one familiar hell. Suddenly I read all this, your actual words, as they floated out through your throat and tongue and onto your page, just as when your daughter, years ago now, drifting in, gazing up into my face, mystified, where I worked alone in the silent house, asked suddenly, Daddy, where's Mommy? The freezing soil of the garden, so as I clawed at it, all around me that midnight's a giant clock of frost. And somewhere inside it, wanting to feel nothing, a pulse of fever. Somewhere inside the numbness of the earth, our future trying to happen. I look up as if to meet your voice with all its urgent future that has burst in on me. Then look back at the book with the painted words. You are 10 years dead. It is only a story. Your story, my story. So these are going to be, this is the tragic love story that spins off from, if one time the mere act of possessing a moment rob it of the heartbreak with which you hungered for, and then there was happiness. If forged in the collapsed heart of the dark matter star, if spun out like the rest into tiny tendrils of consciousness. If flecks of lights to briefly spark and catch fire here in the place where they are. If hams the beer refreshing, an old tube amps echo in your head while you lay abed dreaming. If you walk into the pawn shop with the rest of the home stereo, if you're in a dirty t-shirt that shows the bloody constellation that begins inside your elbow, if dots down to the vein between your first two knuckles, if it smells like Neosporin, if your brother takes a shotgun out of your hands, if he tackles your sobbing home on the lawn of your ex, as if she and her co-worker look on, if you can't see you when you hang up the payphone, so how you first miscradle it becomes you smashing it into its chrome face plate saying, how much time do I get for how much money? If you remove her invitation to the tall, well-groomed money from the mail and read how it says that he doesn't need to bring a sleeping bag because he can use hers. If you sell the Jeep to a drug dealer that never has the heroin you want, just more coke. If her mom hears about you opening the mail and sends the family attorney to discuss how you're infringing upon the restraining order. If you don't remember doing that. If the jail time is mentioned. If you spend more than half an hour sobbing in the clearing with the chainsaw in your hand. If you're being paid minimum wage for the trees you're not cutting down. If you have to sell your house so you can go to Poland to get out of town. If when you next see your ex is 8 years later. If when you write this, a light starts to shine all around you. How to drink. This is the appropriate setting for this poem. How to drink with Joelle. Hand it over. She wakes up first. She looks good in her bra, making breakfast. Maybe toast. Maybe not. But for sure, some vodka and some orange juice. You're already underwater. Why not continue? She puts on a sundress. You put on a t-shirt and ruined khaki pants. One of you will ignore the hangover enough to drive to the liquor store for the first time. This time it's beer which you take to the lake or a pool. Get a couple of these down and you almost feel like you can make a little conversation. Charm her a little bit. Try not to stare at her in a bathing suit. Make a promise for yourself for later that you will be unable to keep. From the water to the liquor store, and this time it's louder. This time it's vodka. You don't care what kind, you care what proof. 180, and it doesn't matter if your curly-headed friend told you her dad, the dentist, cleaned his dental tools in McCormick's. The plastic bottle fits easy and warms in your back pocket. You almost feel as though you could eat a little bread maybe or some apple pie. This too will pass. Maybe now's the time you play cards or talk in the living room. Nobody wants to say any better. She wears knee-high socks, but all you can do is drink with her. So through the pint and into the evening where like magic everything becomes less clear. It's time to hit the bars. And you say the same thing every night. There's no way I'm going to make it. And then you look up and someone's yelling, last call, there's not enough time. You're still not willing to admit that you're drunk. Somebody yells, I've got a bottle of Captain Morgan's or Bombay Gin or anything. And you go because you start to tell each other the truth. And you go because it's good that this happens now. And you know that you'll forget it tomorrow. Where leaving a glass with anything inside of it, even if it's not your own, seems like a sin. The critical level of escape. The season of her must begins. You have to change motels and men a lot, but this one has a weight that disconnects these things. This ride, this single shoe, this bed, this photograph, the pornography and drugs, or we're not dropped off from outer space by aliens. Everything was always has been here. They were just sleeping in earth and waiting dark for us to find. To despotic, yes, and hard to see. Even now it seems like light just slides right off. Outside, a thick and shining road uncoils its length. Inside the room, you begin to pant. You have got to get out of here. The fluorescent light at the all-night gas stop hums the way even the Park Nova hums. Excavate change or bills or bogus cards for fuel and build the road your motel sky. The troposphere begins at the motel, and then the stratosphere, the mesosphere. Then the tension in your hand falls away, and then your breath shallows but easy, like a highway sign that shows you how close you are to where you're going. The thermosphere is the turnpike, the push. You do 300 miles of push, and now suspend the hope still lurking in your heart. The exosphere at last. You will be missed. There's some Blue Island review people here in attendance tonight. You guys did a really beautiful job on this, and the celebration for this is you too. Is the 22nd, right? And where is it? Raven, yes. So if you're interested in supporting communal poetry, this would be another cool thing to check out. All right, I got two more for you.
Antonio. I go by AC. Yeah, I got some new stuff tonight.
Very good, me too.
The Magician's Dream. No, not Saturday. It was after Canasta we found and burned Ivan's diary. Remember? On Monday, I told Ivan that if he were a very, very good and pretty robot and was very, very nice to me and my known friend, who's not a milkman, but who has a job not entirely dissimilar, certain rude, operatic gestures, then I would let him go on Sunday, maybe, just maybe. Well, the robot played Gustav, the skeleton, on the Dead Action television hit, famous as the fave of the world's meanest milkman. I want enough scratch in the pools to jerry-rig the band in a cell in the basement and cipher a silicone Mickey Finn. I kidnapped him in the studio parking lot after asking him for his autograph. Yes, the one on the icebox. And took him, the robot Gustav, Ivan, and locked him in my basement and taught him in slow, hard programming to care for the rough things of this rough world, to love life's fragility, to strange gifts and harsh taxes. In some way I broke his heart, little by little. On Tuesday I got stoned on gin and went for a swim in the university pool, an area fair with architecture that made for a pleasant acoustic, so that I still sang pennies from heaven when I descended into Ivan's cell to set up my camera tripod. And what I really wish I had got a shot of was how the streaks ran Kool-Aid blue off his map like rain off the old wraparound windshield of my 58 Riviera when he saw what it was that I was going to do. On Wednesday, I was a perfect bitch and couldn't be bothered with any little thing. On Thursday, we played cards and drank beer which shot out my nose when Ivan regaled me with a binomial translation of social Darwinism. He thought Black-Eyed Susans were an apt garland for the Triple Crown winner, that one of Giacometti's pencil sketches was worth Rand's entire oeuvre, that war began when man did another man down over $1. He really was a pretty good egg. On Sunday, though, by the time the sun set, he came free, unfurled, from the winding sheet of tin that his body used to be in, and floated down past a hammerhead who noted Ivan, if at all, as another cold piece of jetsam to swim around. Thank you, Misconception Sarah Glass, for your efforts, poetry, and Lawrence's behalf. It's beautiful of you. And thank you, Vibrators, for doing this. Let's do one more. Thanks everybody. There's going to be a lot of good poetry here tonight, and I think there's a sign-up sheet too that's going around here somewhere.
It's very full.
It's very, very full.
So if you're not on it, you can come talk to me and we'll figure something out.
I've got 1 or 2 copies of these if anybody here is interested. Thanks again. You believe in your heart of hearts that the world is doomed? And I agree. Armed custodians have come to carry me in an armored car across the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. 17 miles of concrete and sea where what the road kills are birds, not like the skunks back home, to bring me to the Red Onion State Supermax facility. The sea wasp that was my father carries me and one eye at each corner of his jelly brain. And because he is semi-translucent, he can see inside himself, inside the hearts of the life-serving cons who greet me with lasagna hay and bear me on cotton trons into my cell, where the arsonists have prepared a place for me, stacking cartons of Lucky Strikes and stamp books on the backs of my new dynamites. The fire burners have filled my toilet with Applejack, and tonight we have a singular fire and a brand new way to burn. I spurn this strange love as I deny yours. I would nothing from nor with you, but death is the business of this world, and business is good. Those few literate inmates here on sword water block wait to carve my words on stone rolls, to write with toothbrush handles filed to a point, write with tines from forks never used for food, unless you mean the dark salty meat of love evades in confinement, warped and spread and forgotten on the macadam of the yard, backed on over bunker tops. Skinheads gather below my window to bring my law into the streets where you, the reader, live. Say oh when you mean zero. Henceforth zero is a verb. Zero is a fuel cons can burn to get high. A fuel to zero fire down. It will rain fire when you say oh. Rain fire when you men hot cross. Rain fire when you open up the hate-filled stone of your heart. The rain is the God of Jacob saying your hate is good. Your hate looks good to him. The stone of your heart is what he wants. God rains fire to tell you, oh, my confirmed brothers and sisters, that we can't have it both ways. God sends